This is Steve Montgomery at Unheard of Guitar, and other than being a guitarist and a bass player in the Houston area, I'm a retired fifth grade teacher. So you see, I have teacher mode off. I don't think that's ever true. You're always a teacher, once a teacher, always a teacher, once a learner, always a learner. They're obviously connected. You can't be one without being the other. Being a teacher for a fifth grade class over the years, you see things you wish you didn't have to see. You learn things about kids that they're going through, and some things you just really can't help them on, but you wish you could. So, um, in order to express this because I would tell you that kids that are going through some form of abuse, whether it be physical, sexual, some sort of neglect, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, which I've had kids like that. Um, there's certain things that they usually exhibit as far as behavioral characteristics. Okay, so one of the biggest things is they put on a mask. They hide. Why do they hide? Well, it's because it's their survival skill. So in their house, they might have to literally survive, but they survive. They snuff their feelings. Um, they put on a happy face, so to speak, when it's not really there. It's not really them. They're hiding what they really feel underneath. And sometimes it becomes so out of touch with what they really think, really feel, that they truly are just a mask. Um, but yet there's the real them is under there. It has to be. So hypervigilance. Hypervigilance comes with the territory because if you're not familiar with that word, the way I'm using it, it means that they become so aware of their surroundings um, because they need to in order again to survive. So as a kid, as a fifth grader, that would be 10 and 11-year olds mostly. A kid like that who's perhaps gone through some sort of abuse is more aware, like an old soul. They're more aware of their surroundings. They're more knowing of things than other kids. And again, this helps them survive in whatever situation they're in. Another thing is, well, low self esteem, even though there's the hiding place that the kids go into for protection. Low self esteem is definitely there. Sometimes they can act out, try to hurt themselves, try to hurt others, have emotional outbursts when they just really can't hold back the volcanic uh, pressure that's building up inside. Uh, uh, Another one is they can become very manipulative, dishonest. Um, Again, that stems back to being in survival mode. These are tools that you can use to avoid the pain and get others to do what you need or want them to do in order to minimize pain. Uh, Knowing themselves, seeing themselves is difficult, I think, um, and getting them to call out and ask for help at that age is extremely difficult, I think, from what I've seen. A couple of songs that come to mind since we're musicians here talking. One is Luca, that was done by Susan Vega. If you haven't heard that one, it's a cool song. But very directly addresses physical abuse. A line that I have here that I wrote down was this kid named Luca lives upstairs. He says, I guess you've been hearing sounds up there, huh? And essentially, I'm paraphrasing. He says, just don't ask me what it was. They only hit you until you cry. After that, you just don't ask why. You just don't argue anymore. So, what a sad state of affairs. I know Susan Vega was writing based on whatever her thoughts about it were, but this is a reality for many kids. The big takeaway is wrong. It hurts. It's bad for the kids. Um, but the ripples that go out from this throughout the rest of their lives, they may become abusers themselves. That's been documented so many times. But if they don't, they may take up where the abuser left off and become self abusers, even to the point of suicide. Yes, that happens many times, unfortunately. But if not, just self turmoil, self doubt, low self esteem. Another song, this is by Christian singer Amy Grant, called Ask Me, deals directly with sexual abuse of a young girl. And if you want to look that up, the lyrics are heart wrenching, uh, but it's well done. It's a good song, even if you're not into the Christian aspect of it. It does have a plea to God in there, and it says something along the lines of, "Ask me if you know why there's a God in heaven." And essentially, this person tells you, but it doesn't minimize the reality. It doesn't miraculously sweep away the reality of the pain that lasts for a kid who's gone through those sorts of abusive situations. So this is because number three. It's a big one, and you guys stay on the lookout. If you see signs of kids that have maybe gone through or going through things like this, speak up, help them. If they can't help themselves, which they often can't, direct them or direct somebody else to intervene on their behalf. So that is because number three. Adios.